My name is Tekoa. I'm back. This is a Unite to Ignite interview. We're here with
Eliza, branding coach on Instagram.
yes, branding coach mastermind. I saw that in the PDF. I was like, ooh, I like that. And we're
Yeah.
gonna go a little bit into your background story, just to kind of dive into who you are as a person, build some relationship trust with the community. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm currently a branding coach. I got into branding kind of a little roundabout way. I initially wanted to be a health coach, and I did a health coaching program. And I was trying to get clients and build that business, and I was getting no clients, and I was getting a lot of people sliding into my DMs wanting to know how I edited my photos, like what presets I use and how I had a pretty feed and stuff like that. And I just started thinking about it more, like maybe this is a sign. And I helped a friend who's an online entrepreneur with her Instagram, and we really made it look a lot better. And I debated for a few months, then was like, I think I should just do this. It feels so much more aligned. And I'd been working actually as an editor in Hollywood for several years at that point. So it was definitely something I was an expert in. So yeah, I made the switch, and it was super scary, but it feels so much more clear with what I'm doing now.
It feels right. Yeah, I always tell people, what does everyone else say about you? If people are like, I don't know what to do, I'm like, well, what does everyone else say you're good at? So that's really good that you kind of picked up on that. Like, you know what? Maybe I should go into business and do this for myself. Mm-hmm. So how is editing in Hollywood?
It's very hurry up and wait, and it's very jumping from gig to gig. I was lucky to have a long-standing gig that I did for about a year and a half. So that was good to have like consistent income with that, but anything supplemental was very unpredictable.
So are you a contracted employee, or is it you have to go out and find gigs and do it that way?
So yeah, like I had a long-standing contracted gig with a production company, but then anything else was just kind of searching on Craigslist and Facebook groups.
Trying to sell yourself. So give us a little bit. Let's go farther back. So where did you grow up?
So I was born in Washington, D.C. and
That's
then
close to me.
Oh, cool. Yeah. And then we moved to Delaware when I was about 7, but we also spent a lot of time in England. My dad was from England. He just passed away actually, but he was from England, and I have dual citizenship. So we spent a lot of time there with his family growing up.
Awesome. So I'm so sorry about your dad passing away.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I know we're really close to our parents, and to lose a parent is really hard. Do you see yourself going back to England as much now?
Yeah, I do. I mean, having the citizenship makes it so easy. I mean, it's unfortunate with Brexit, now it's harder. Like I used to be able to go to any country in Europe, and well, we don't have to get into that, but I have my own thoughts about Brexit. But yeah, at least I still have British citizenship, and it just, makes it so easy to go there. I could work there if I wanted to. Yeah. I'm a full citizen. So yeah, I love England. I love the people there, and I like the food. I know people like to hate on British food, but I grew up with it, so I like it. And I'm really at home there.
That's one of my goals for next year, is to just travel. So I'll definitely have to connect with you and find out where to go, what are the good places I need to see, everything.
Yeah.
All right. So how was it growing up and traveling back and forth? How was it?
It was really fun. I feel like I think exposing kids to travel is so important. I think not enough people like get out of the country and experience other cultures firsthand. So I'm really grateful that my parents made that really a priority for me growing up, and just also not just getting to visit another place as a tourist, but actually live there, because we lived in England for long stretches at a time, and you really just get really immersed in the culture.
Yeah. Is there a big difference from there to America? Is there like a clear, like this is different?
Yeah, there is. People in England, it's more of a how to put it, it's not unfriendly, but it's not as overtly friendly as people are. Like people in Europe think of Americans as weirdly smiley. Like in Europe, if you go into a store or you pass someone on the street, people don't smile at you. Like people in the store aren't going to come up and be like, oh, can I help you find anything? What are you looking for today? Like they'll help you if you ask for it, but they're more
standoffish.
A little bit, yeah, not in a bad way. It's just a different way of interacting. But yeah, if you walk around in England like smiling at everyone you pass, it would be seen as like if people like pull their kids closer.
Oh my gosh, I would be a total weirdo.
Super smiley.
Yeah, I am. I'm super smiley and I love to like engage with people.
Yeah.
I definitely respect like privacy bubbles. Like I give people their space, but I'm really smiley. I love to start conversations. So they would probably be like, what?
Yeah.
Well, it's good to know. Walk around and be like,
Mm-hmm.
try and hold it in. All right. Thank you for that background. So you grew up all over here and then overseas in England. Did you go to school for design or anything?
No, I actually wanted to be a doctor. So I was pre-med in college. I went to GW in DC and really wanted to go into either medicine or optometry. I was kind of bouncing between a few different healthcare fields. And then I just sort of had an epiphany when I think I was 24, 25, and I dropped everything and bought a one-way ticket to LA and decided to
follow your dream.
Yeah.
Oh, that's magnificent.
Yeah.
That's a Hollywood movie right there.
Yeah, it was pretty intense. It was a hard transition, but I'm glad that I did it.
Did you leave like family and everything and just go on your own?
Yeah, I have one cousin here, one cousin who lives in Culver City, but besides that, I have no family. I had no friends here, no connections.
Wow, yes.
Like friends of friends kind of people, but yeah, no one else.
Such a big leap.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you. It takes a lot of faith, a lot of courage to do that. A lot of people, they'll sit on their dream forever, but you were like, let's do it.
Yeah, I knew like, I'm very much a fan of that whole concept of like the time will never be right kind of thinking, because so many people, they put off what they want to do because, oh, it's the time's not right. And they never do it because it's never going to be right. Any major decision, it's never like, whether it's starting a business, moving to a new place, it's never going to be like
perfect. Never.
No, never.
Yeah. And then sometimes we might think it's perfect and it's disaster. So you might as well just do it. Just hop out there. All right. So what made you want to be a doctor? How'd you go from wanting to be a doctor into Hollywood? Like such a big transition.
Yeah, so I had been pre-med for pretty much all of college, and then the couple years after I graduated, I was still taking more science classes and working as an ophthalmic technician, trying to beef up my application for med school and optometry school, and I took the OCAT as well, and I was studying for the MCAT. And then overnight, I started posting videos on Musical.ly, which is now known as TikTok. That's like the old name of the TikTok app.
Yeah, I remember.
Before they like rebranded. And I started posting on there because I was seeing a therapist at the time because I was really depressed. I was a super depressed pre-med. And he was like, I think you should, take some acting classes or do something creative. He was like, all you're doing is going to work and then going home and studying, and you don't do anything else. And I was kind of offended at first. I was like, God damn it, I'm a scientist. I don't have time for acting and creative, frou-frou. But then I thought about it more, and I didn't have time or money for acting classes or anything. So I was like, maybe I'll just start posting on Vine and Musical.ly and just see what happens, and just like have fun with it. And I actually had my accounts private at first because I didn't want anyone to see them. It was just a creative outlet.
Right.
But a lot of my friends thought that my videos were funny, and they were like, you really got to make this public and let other people see these. So I did, and on Musical.ly, I kind of blew up overnight a few years ago and got a lot of followers, and then got some opportunities and some brands reaching out, and I saw this potential other avenue because all I knew at that point was science. That was all I had really ever focused on, and I felt like there's no way I can switch to something else now. I mean, even though I was like 22, I was like, my life is over, it's complete. But I suddenly had this other opportunity, and I was like, maybe I could really make something of this. So that was kind of what got me thinking about creative avenues and realizing, like, I mean, I'm obviously good at this. I mean, I got all these followers, so.
Yeah. Wow, so it kind of just happened overnight.
Yeah, it was a video of me lip syncing to Nightmare Before Christmas, and a lot of people liked it, and it got a lot of views, and I got like 10,000 followers in a week, and then it just went from there. So
wow, that's crazy.
yeah.
And then you ended up going to Hollywood.
Yeah.
Wow, that is an amazing story.
Yeah. Literally the Walk of Fame, like the Walk of Stars, is 3 blocks that way.
Oh, you're in Hollywood, Hollywood. Like you're in Hollywood.
Yeah, which is surprisingly one of the cheapest places to live in LA. A lot of people are
Really?
like, "Ooh, Hollywood, fancy," and I'm like, no, I live here because the rent is so low. Yeah.
I would not. I wouldn't even believe that. That's so weird.
It's I don't know, but it is. A lot of the buildings are really old here. Like my building is I think it's over 100 years old.
Wow.
I think that's part of it is like, like I don't have air conditioning. I don't have heat. Like,
Oh, so it's like old.
yeah. Yeah.
So they don't have like you would think they would put like higher living, apartments down there or something of that nature. But
There's there are some nicer buildings, but there are a lot of older buildings here that are really affordable. So I think that's why.
Okay. Wow. Well, best of luck to you on your Hollywood journey.
Thanks.
Are you looking to get into acting or anything?
No, I always liked being behind the camera more. I mean, I like doing stuff like this, like YouTube videos and whatnot, but I have a lot of friends who've gone after acting, and that is not the lifestyle for me.
Okay. Yeah, that's where you draw the line. You have to have boundaries. You have to know who you are and where you want to go, so you don't get mixed in with, things that don't appeal to you.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so that's a good background story. Wow, we don't get too many of those. So let's go straight into you being an Instagram mastermind. What does that detail? Give us the ins and outs of what it takes to be an Instagram mastermind.
Yeah. So do you mean like what I do with my mastermind program for my students? Yeah, so basically I teach my clients how to have really professional looking Instagram feeds from a visual standpoint. So I help a little bit with copy, like the bio and captions and stuff like that, but the focus of my program is really on the aesthetics of Instagram. So having a pretty feed, like the simplest way of putting it. Because a lot of people, they have great ideas, they have an amazing program and an amazing message that they want to share, but they don't know how to portray it effectively, and their content just doesn't look captivating. And if it doesn't look captivating, people aren't gonna, linger on your profile. And it looks, I feel like saying it looks unprofessional is kind of harsh, but I mean, it's true. What's the word? A comparison that I often make is like, if you move to a new place and you're trying to find a new salon to go to, and you're Googling local salons, and you click on one, even if they have good reviews, if their website looks really bad, if like the text is going off the screen and their logo is pixelated and the photos are blurry, you're probably going to move on to the next one because it just doesn't look like they put a lot of effort in. And it could be amazing, but you're probably going to move on rather quickly. And it's the same thing with Instagram. If people come to your page and photos are dark, like they're too dark, or they're overexposed, or they just don't flow well, or people aren't going to linger. So I really help my students take better photos, learn how to edit them, learn how to make them look cohesive, like come up with a color aesthetic that they want to go with, and really just tie the whole thing together visually.
Awesome. I feel like that's really important because people, we see things first, unfortunately. Before we get to know somebody, we see them first, and then we decide, do I want to get to know them, or do I want to stray away, kind of. Yeah. So I think it's really important to have a cohesive theme going on with your feed, especially if you want to get into Instagram and use it for business. It's definitely important. What are some of the key things you learned going through?
Yeah, so the key points in my program are, first and foremost, choosing an aesthetic, because there are tons of different ones. There's turquoise and orange, there's brown feeds, there's white feeds, there's dark feeds, there's light feeds, warm, cool, all different color schemes that you can go with. Oh. And I first help my students choose one, because you have to choose one and stick to it. You can't be bouncing around or it's not going to look cohesive. So I have them choose one, and I have a few different methods that I use to help them choose one that not only looks good, but they're going to be able to keep up with long term. Because that's a big problem, is someone's like, ooh, I'm going to do pastel, I'm going to have a cotton candy feed, but they live in a cabin in the woods and there's no pastel in there. And they run out of ideas. Yeah. you know, they have like one pastel sweater and they wear that in a photo and then they're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do now. So you have to come up with a feed that you're going to be able to feasibly do for the long term. You don't have to keep the same feed forever, but I usually recommend not changing it more than about once every 6 months or so, because you want it to look consistent for several scrolls, so to speak. Yeah. So that's kind of the foundation, is choosing the aesthetic and then teaching them how to get content for that particular aesthetic, how to make the presets, how to cut down their editing time. I have a lot of students who come to me and they're spending like 30 minutes to an hour per photo just editing, and I can get them down to like under 5 minutes, which saves them so much time in the long run.
I love presets. Like, if I find a good photo and I edit it well, I'm like, save that, because the next one I'm just throwing through that preset and it's gonna be great.
Yeah, no, having one preset, or like not just one preset, but having like a little bundle of presets that you like, it's so helpful, and it saves you so much time.
Yeah, so what do you recommend for going through the photo editing process? Do you have like the go-tos? What do you use?
Yeah, so my 2 favorite apps personally for my feed, I have a very neutral feed. I used to have like a light and airy feed, and I'm actually switching it over to kind of a darker themed feed, just for fun, because I've had the same one for a long time and I'm switching it up, but it's very neutral. And so for me, my 2 favorite apps are VSCO and CUNYCAM. Not a lot of people have heard of CUNYCAM. It's one of the lesser known ones, whereas most people know about VSCO. But CUNYCAM is a vintage editing app. So it has a lot of vintage looking presets that are actually inspired by old cameras. Like, you can scroll through different old camera types and it'll apply filters that look like that. And it also is an app that lets you add dust and scratches. So when you see people that have like the grainy look on their photos, a lot of them are using that app. And same thing with the light leaks. Like, if you see photos that have like a streak of red across them or something, they're usually using CUNYCAM to achieve that look. So, and it has a massive preset library as well, like about the same, maybe not as big as VSCO, but almost. It's really, really big. So a lot of options in there.
I tried to use VSCO. I could not. It was almost like an Instagram feed, because the way you can put pictures up. So I definitely tried to use it, and I was like, oh my gosh, it was overwhelming. So maybe even doing like a VSCO course or something like that could be beneficial.
Yeah, I've been thinking about making mini courses that just focus on particular apps. If people don't want to do like my whole program, but they just want to learn one thing. So that might be coming in the future.
Yeah, I think that'll be great. Because I know for me, I was like, what is going on with this app? I ended up using Lightroom. I use Lightroom, Facetune, and some other things like that. But I just could not figure out VSCO for the life of me. So that's definitely a market that needs attending to.
Yeah, it's funny how some people really take to one app versus another. I teach 5 in my program as of right now, like my one-on-one course. And I have some students who love Lightroom and hate VSCO, and then the other way around. I have one app that I teach called Rainbow Love, which is a very weirdly laid out app. I love it, but it's very difficult to navigate. But I have some students who just take to it and love it, and then some who are like, I'm never using this app ever again after this course.
Wow.
So it's interesting how some of it's just kind of like down to the individual.
I'm sure they could find a way to see like people who prefer Lightroom are like this, like maybe it's like a personality thing that kind of
probably, yeah.
People who like this, you know, like, because some people like Facebook, but some people like Instagram more. So why is there that difference?
Yeah.
All right. So far with helping people with Instagram, how does that make you feel? Like, do you feel fulfilled afterwards? Is this like, this is great, I love doing this?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Like, the texts that I get from my happy clients who are really excited about seeing their brand really transform before their eyes, it's so rewarding. I mean, I get texts from clients saying like, I was out today and I saw like a mural or something and it fit my color scheme, and now I have a good place where I'm going to go get some Instagram photos. And they'll start to, like, my goal for them is for them to be able to see a location or see something right away and know if it fits their feed immediately, because that really just makes creating content so much easier versus when you're out and you're like, oh, I don't know where to take a photo. So I really want them to be able to see the world and know instantaneously, like, is this going to work for my feed and for my brand as a whole? And when they have those realizations, it's like, it's so
amazing.
Yeah.
That's good. From going to be a scientist to helping people with Instagram, such a huge transition. But the great thing about it is you're still helping people. So that's really good. To take a step back, why did you choose optometry?
I think because I've always liked science a lot, but my best subject in science was always physics by a long shot. Chemistry, 50-50, but bio I really struggled with. And optometry is very physics heavy. So it was, just going to be easier. Like in college, bio was such a struggle. Chemistry was difficult but passable, but physics, I was just like,
Your
easy day
placement
for
then.
me.
Do you see yourself maybe going back into that, or is it the creative world from here on out?
I think it's the creative world from here on out. I kind of said when I moved to LA that I was going to give myself like 3 or 4 years to really see if I wanted to do this or if I wanted to instead go back. Because the courses that I took in college, I think they're like good for 10 years if you want to use them towards applying to schools and stuff. So I was going to give myself a few years here. And now that I've really settled in on a set path of what I want to do, I think I'm definitely going to stick with this.
Awesome. Yeah. It's like a weight is lifted. Kind of just being out in the world and being free and kind of, making your own path.
Yeah, and like going back to having a boss would be so hard now.
It sucks so much. Yeah, I left my job probably over 5 years ago, and I haven't been back since. So like, I cannot go back to a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Not in typical corporate America realm anyway. I like being free.
Yeah, same. It's such a difference working for yourself. I mean, it has its own like problems for sure. Like being self-motivated is a whole ball game of its own, but overall it's so rewarding, and I don't think I could go back now.
Awesome. So with your Instagram clients, who do you appeal to? Is it the Instagram models? Is it people that are leaving their 9 to 5 and trying to start their own business on Instagram? What's your ideal market?
Yeah, so I actually decided to focus in on health coaches, partially just because I like the work that they do. I mean, I was interested in doing that too. Also, my health background. Actually, funny, so like I wanted to go into optometry. The chemistry behind me is actually an eyeball.
Oh, wow. Oh, you're serious.
Yeah. It's like homage to my old passion. Yeah, it's a drawing of an eyeball from like an old Victorian textbook. So it's not actually super accurate. There's parts of it that are not in line with what we know today, but it's pretty cool.
But it was the start. It's what got us to where we are now.
Yeah, here we are. But yeah, healthcare was such a big part of my life for so long, and so focusing on health coaches and also other types of wellness coaches like fitness coaches and stuff like that really appealed to me. And also because I did go through a health coaching program, I really know what those types of people are looking for. I know like how they run their businesses. I know what they're trying to do with their business. So it's easier for me to appeal to them. But I've worked with people in a multitude of different fields. I've worked with influencers. I've worked with people in finance. I've worked with people in like direct marketing, like people who sell tangible products. So all different kinds of services, but I focus on health coaching primarily.
That's cool. Because you did say that you went to a health coach like class certification program.
Yeah, I did IIN, which is a year-long program, the Institute of Integrative Nutrition.
Okay, so do you still put health into what you do? Could you see yourself maybe being a consultation or doing consultations for health or something like that? Or is that just on the back burner, just knowledge that you have that you use to help other coaches?
Yeah, it's just on the back burner. I thought for a while about trying to combine the two, but I know how important niching down is. Like you really don't want to be a general store when you're a coach and like try to appeal to everybody. Obviously, if you're Walmart, you can get away with that because you're Walmart. But if you're not, it's very hard to be a general store and just appeal to the masses. You really want to hone in on one type of person and hone in on one type of thing that you do. And I'm really good at spreading myself too thin, trying to please everyone. So I'm just gonna stick to this for right now.
All right, awesome. I think that's great. So what are you looking for in Hollywood? So if people watch this video, they know to call you for this. What is it that you want? The opportunities you're looking for?
Yeah, so I'm really just looking for the opportunities to keep sharing the work that I do. I love doing things like this. I love doing speaking engagements for masterminds. Like I've been brought in as a guest speaker for some online masterminds, or I have an upcoming podcast interview that I'm going to be doing. And yeah, just things like that, just really spreading the work that I do and talking to people about how to really improve their presence online visually.
Awesome. I think your story of kind of finding yourself to where you are now is really inspiring. So that might be something you look into just sharing with the world too. Like just your from there to here, your story is very inspiring. Kind of just following your own path.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'd love to also encourage people, you know, if they're feeling like they can't make that leap and move to the other place or leave their job or something like that, to make them feel like, you know, you can and it will fall into place. You might have some kitchen floor meltdowns along the way, but you'll make it.
Yes, the meltdowns do happen, but the point is to not stay down for so long, but to get back up and keep moving towards your dream.
Yeah, exactly. It's just one foot in front of the other sometimes. And like, I feel like as long as you're making some steps, even if they're baby steps, it's all like, you know, when I have the days where I'm just really not motivated and all I do that's productive that day is do like a live stream on Instagram and post a photo, and I'll feel like, wow, I've got barely anything done. It's like, at least I did something. At least I did a tiny step forward, and I try to just focus on that.
Yeah, that's smart. A lot of us, we think we're not doing enough all the time, but we don't see the little things that we're doing that'll add up to the big picture.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so you gotta stay positive. All right, so what's next for you? What are you doing now? What's going on in business?
Yeah, so I'm going to be relaunching my one-on-one program probably within the next 4 weeks. I'm going to start launching that. I also recently created a mini course just on how to make highlight covers, those little cute little icons that you can use to cover your highlights and make them look really cohesive. And I want to also create a few more mini courses that I'm just going to have as like passive income products as well. I'm not sure exactly what the topics are going to be, but I'm thinking something about story aesthetics, because I get asked a lot like how I make my stories look cute too, even though they're not as important as the feed, because they don't tie into that initial like I don't want to say judgment, that sounds bad, but they don't tie into that initial.
It is though.
Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah, like when people first come to your feed and they're like, do I want to follow this person or not?
Yeah.
Stories don't tie into that, but they are still part of your whole brand. So I'm thinking about making a course all about stories and maybe combining that with my highlight covers course and making it just a big mini course, I guess. So
okay. Don't forget about Visco. I think that should definitely be added in.
Yeah, and I do want to make some courses on that. The only issue with that is that they update the apps a lot, so I feel like I'd have to be like remaking the course often, because already since I made some tutorials for my one-on-one program, and since then 2 of the apps have already like changed their layout, and I had to remake the entire tutorial, so that would be like
yeah, that's a consistent growth thing. Then maybe focus on the things that we know aren't going to change.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, where can everyone follow you?
Yeah, so I am on Instagram at Eliza Coconut, ELIZA, and then coconut, like are they fruits or seeds? I actually don't even know.
A fruit? I know it's not a nut, is it?
I don't know, whatever they are, but spelled the normal way. So yeah, Instagram is just at Eliza Coconut. And then you can also find me on TikTok at my real name. My last name is not really Coconut. My last name is Cause. So my TikTok is at Eliza Cause, which is CAWS. And then my YouTube channel is also Eliza Cause.
All right, awesome.
Yeah.
So let me see, write it down. And definitely send it to me so I can put it in the description down below so everyone can follow you as well, especially if they need help on Instagram.
Yeah.
No need to be lost when someone can help get you together.
Yeah, and then before we go, since I'm going to put this on my channel as well, do you mind introducing yourself and like talking a little about your programs in case my followers are interested?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sure. So I am Tekoa. Everyone calls me Coco. I run Unite to Ignite. I run a life coaching mindset program where I help people get their mind in order. If you're feeling lost, if you don't feel fulfilled in your 9 to 5, in your daily life, or even at home with your husband, your kid, your wife, you just don't feel fulfilled, you don't feel like you're your best self, I help you get to your best self. So I like to take people from dreaming of who they could be to achieving who they want to be in a short time. So I go through my 4-step program is changing your mindset. What are you saying to yourself? What could you be doing better? Who do you believe that you are versus who you want to be? And then the second one is dealing with those bad habits we have. The person who's like, oh, I want to be an actress, or I want to be a finance coach, but when I ask, what do you do when you come home? I watch Netflix because I'm on season 8 of whatever. It's like, all right, well, let's try to get away from the consistency of doing nothing and get you into doing something that'll help bring about that vision that you see. So that's the bad habits part. Then we go into making time to grow, which is anything you want to do, you have to be purposeful. So if you want to be an Instagram, brand help, then you need to be on Instagram looking up new ways to develop stories, how to get the feed to look nice. You need to make yourself an authority in that realm by educating yourself. So that's the next step. And then the last step is after you got your mind right, broke your bad habits, you learned about what you want to do and where you want to go, you go there. You just do everything in your power to get yourself where you see yourself at by actually executing. So that's the last step. That's my 4-step program that I take people to. My YouTube channel, Unite to Ignite, it has motivational content, but it also, I meet up with different people and I interview them to show them the differences in all of us, but the similarities as well. So people will say, oh my gosh, I, had a dream and I'm in science school, but I don't want to be there anymore. Maybe I too can follow my dream of going somewhere different and doing something different, and it's not going to be the end of the world. And they learn that through seeing people like Eliza. So that's the YouTube channel content. So you can follow me on IG at Unite to Ignite, Facebook Unite to Ignite, Twitter Unite to Ignite, and and YouTube at Unite to Ignite. It's UNITETOIGNITE.
Awesome. And I'll put all that down in the description of my video as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, it looks like we're reaching about our 30-minute mark. I don't like to keep the videos too long. I know people have things to do and we're all busy people, so I keep them short and sweet, but we got a lot of good information. I think your story is remarkable. I also think that traveling to England part and being dual citizen, that's great. You still have the option to, well, not right now, but not as much, right? But you still have the option to go, so that's really cool. And I think going from being in science, going for this I would assume a doctorate.
Plan, yeah. I don't have a doctorate, but that was the plan.
Yeah, but I see like changing that for essentially your happiness and freedom is just really remarkable. So I think that's such a great transition to say, this is what I want to do. And it kind of, you didn't even know, kind of just pulled you. Yeah, it kind of just happened.
Yeah, I had no idea. I mean, I went from what is one of the probably most stable and secure job fields out there. I mean, healthcare is like the one place where you're practically never going to be unemployed and you're practically never going to be broke. I mean, obviously there are exceptions, but in general. And I went to probably like one of the least secure, least financially reliable industries possible.
Yeah, well, don't say it like that because it seems crazy. But you have to take that leap of faith, because if you don't, somebody else will, and you'll look at them and you'll say, that could have been me, that's what I wanted to do, and now here they are just living their life to the best, and you're kind of stuck in this cycle of, a 9 to 5 or whatever the case may be, and that doesn't genuinely make you happy. So I think the leap is great. I think it's remarkable, and I'm going to continuously say that forever. I definitely support it, and I appreciate the help with the Instagram. So if you didn't know before that you need to have a clear aesthetic when you're doing Instagram, you need to have a theme. you need to appeal to people a certain way, because the first thing they see when they come on your page, besides your profile picture and your bio, is your feed. That's what gets people to stay around. So that's why it's so important. So if you need help with that, then definitely feel free to reach out to Eliza and get that in your favor. All right. And I always ask people, I kind of just throw this out there to you, if there was anything in the world that you can tell, you know, everybody who's going to watch this video, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think what I would tell people is I would just repeat my favorite quote, which is, I'd rather regret the things I've done than regret the things I haven't done.
Aww, that's a tearjerker. That's beautiful. Okay, yep. So regret the things that you've done rather than the things you haven't done. That means get up and get to it, everybody. All right, and I will see you all on the next interview. Have a great one.